From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another conversation with Trent and Friends. Good stuff. We got a good one here tonight. We're talking about toxic positivity. I was having a conversation with Coach Dee on last week, and she mentioned something about toxic positivity. So we'll be talking about the harmful side of forced happiness, understanding toxic positivity. Let's bring Coach Dee. Let's see what's on the mind with that one. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, not much. I'm ready to cut my leg off. I had some myofascia massage done on my leg. And last night, if you had told me the only way to stop the pain would be to amputate it, I would have been like, let's go.
Oh, wow.
It is brutal.
Oh, wow.
But they say it'll be better in a couple of days. I'm like, all right, whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, well. But everything else is good?
Yeah, everything's great. We had to put Miss Ruby in. She has a cat containment creation for at night because she likes to bite and scratch and wake Xavier up to play. So she's in kitty jail at bedtime now. But everything else is good. Xavier has a couple of days off, so he's waiting for some snow so they can go virtual for the rest of the week.
Right. Okay, that's good stuff there, man. Real good stuff. I see we had some very quite interesting things going on throughout the news cycle and whatnot with the TikTok ban for less than 24 hours. But
yeah, because they realized that they want to stream the inauguration. You're going to get the views. You're going to get it on TikTok. TikTok's not about propaganda. TikTok's about information being disseminated that the government doesn't want us to hear. And anybody who is like, oh, it's great, should really consider thinking about government censorship and government control of what we're controlling. I'm 54 years old. I don't need any senator to tell me what I can watch.
Exactly. A lot of folks was, making their jokes about it. I'm like, if you guys think it's about that, it's really not that.
Mm-hmm.
All those jokes, I'm like, y'all don't know what's coming down the road, but
those guys who wrote that bill, guess where they invested their money in?
Meta.
Yeah, millions before they wrote the bill. Like everything happens. Yeah. People aren't paying attention, man. But the phrase that's canceled.
Yeah, that guy from Meta, he spent $7.5 million a quarter.
Mm.
A quarter lobbying on Congress.
Oh yeah.
So gotta keep it a buck. And speaking of Meta, this probably will be our last live stream into Meta. We're gonna make some changes. Years ago, I had the conversation app, and I think I'm gonna bring that back. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back because looking at everything that happened with TikTok, I was never handcuffed on a conversation platform with anything because I was streaming to
your own
my entire situation. So I'm gonna bring the app back. Definitely gonna bring the app. So tonight is probably gonna be the last night we're streaming live into Meta.
Yeah. So just a word, because of the inauguration, everybody has to go to the Capital One Arena to watch it. Remember that during a basketball game, the Capital One Arena only holds 20,356 people. Keep that number in mind. So when they start giving out numbers, everybody in the DMV knows how big that arena is and how many people it holds. And I'll tell you right now, there ain't that many people in town.
Exactly. I'm sure. When he announced that, I knew it was going to be something. So
there's not as many people in town as there usually is.
At all.
Yeah, everybody
Everybody's
will tell
tired
you
of the
that.
rhetoric, man. Everybody's tired of the foolishness,
So,
the games, and all that stuff. So
but you know what? I'm on Red Note, loving it, learning some Mandarin.
that's what I'm
It's
talking
fabulous.
about.
Yeah, and people are upset because they're seeing how technologically advanced China is, um, how much cheaper the food is, how much fresher the food. Like there's crazy stuff happening. The world is
Exactly.
just the people waking up. So it may be
Exactly.
the best and worst thing at the same time.
Absolutely. 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 So toxic positivity. What's your
Oh,
thoughts? We had an offline conversation.
yeah.
Thought it was quite
Let's-
interesting. I got to thinking about it and did some research on it, but I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, toxic positivity is one of my favorite topics because it's so prevalent in coaching and enlightened communities. The whole good vibes only. And then, oh, what is it? Either you're stuck in your story or you have a victim mindset. I'm like, no, there's no such thing as good vibes only because we're human beings and we have a range of emotions. And if
Exactly.
someone tells you positive vibes only, walk away because they are not healed.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
you have to experience your emotions. You have to process your emotions. Our bodies. I'm a big fan of the book Your Body Keeps Score.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our body holds emotions in it, right? It stores emotions. And if you don't allow those out, it just like I get it in my hips. My hips tighten up whenever I get stressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I tell you when you're doing the work, if you're not curled up in the fetal position, letting that emotion out, you're not really doing the
Exactly.
work.
After we had that conversation, I got to thinking, right? Thinking about this process with this recovery, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how I handled and went through the process and continue to go through the process on this journey, on this road to recovery, right? So I would get phone calls sometime, not all the time, sometime, telling me how things happen for a reason.
Oh my
Um,
god.
this and that, and look at the light at the end of the tunnel and this and that. Nah, I'm partially paralyzed and partially blind, and this is what it is. Let me process my feelings so I can get on about my business.
Yeah.
But a lot of people took, let's just say that they took offense to me actually doing this to them, pushing back.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I don't
Yeah.
need that. I don't need that right now.
Yeah. It's because people generational. Oh, Al just dropped in. He said, "Good evening, panel." Hey, Al, welcome
What
in.
up, Al Sal?
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's generational. Xavier's generation uses their voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gen Z uses their voice. Millennials are the first generation that started using the voice. Gen X, we were told to shut up when nobody wants to
Exactly.
hear it. And boomers, right? So when people don't understand, that's why there's so much of a generational shift right now. It's because
Mm-hmm.
some generations do not understand working through your emotions and allowing your emotions to process and letting them out. Like it's okay to cry. It's okay to not be okay. Right?
Exactly.
Like
And
stop
can
like
you imagine? Can you imagine where I've been, where would I've been in this recovery if I didn't actually process every single thing
mm,
that take that had taken place in that situation?
yeah, but you'd be like
So
that comedian who's still talking about it's just a little minor health thing.
exactly.
Like, yeah, coma for 20 days is just a minor health issue. Right? And here's the thing: if you're not processing your emotion, it makes it easy to lie to yourself about what's really happening,
Mm-hmm.
about where
Mm-hmm.
you are in the process, right? And
Yeah,
none of us are ever 100% healed because there's stuff going on all the time, right? And
exactly.
you have to allow yourself that growth because if you don't, you get stuck. So then you
Mm.
keep repeating cycles again and again. And what is the saying? Um, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different
Over and over.
outcome,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Let's get the folks caught up. We're going to talk about the definition for toxic positivity. It's the pressure to only display positive emotions, suppressing negative emotions, feelings, reactions, or experiences. Toxic positivity invalidates the human experience and can lead to trauma, isolation, and unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Hmm. It's
You
very
know, and
manipulative.
it is. So
Yeah.
when when you find folks talking about, oh, look on the bright side, nah, this leg is killing me right now.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Nah, I can't see out of my left eye. This is what it is. Nah, I gotta embrace this. You know, for me, I learned to run toward the pain.
Yeah.
And that's embracing it for me. And that's how I got over the hump. That's how I continue to get over the hump, running toward it.
Yeah. So, and it's okay if you get stuck. So
Exactly.
if anybody's listening, it is okay to get stuck. So here's the thing. So many of us don't have coping mechanisms to figure out how to cope with what we're dealing with. That's why I say therapy is not a 4-letter word, right? Get out there, talk to somebody, right?
That's right.
When I say talk to somebody, I mean a licensed mental health specialist, right? Everybody's like, well, I talked to my pastor. I'm like, is your pastor a licensed mental health specialist? No.
Exactly. And especially now, it's Sunday. It's definitely Sunday. So we're going to talk about these Christians for a hot minute. Like when you think about the church, right? They always want to say, well, God does things for a reason. It's okay to process stuff and not look for the silver lining. You haven't even started yet. So why are you looking for the silver lining?
Yeah.
Process what you're going through.
People tell me that. I'm like, well, you tell me, if God does everything for a reason, why are there cancer wards for children? Why are people raped? Why are people murdered? Why are this? So, oh, well, there's a lesson in it. I'm like, whatever, man. You know what?
Yeah, the church heavy on that. The church is definitely heavy on that. Definitely. Yeah. That's not the popular thing to say, but that's what it is. The church is very heavy on that without giving you a solution.
I've gotten to many a conversation with many a pastor, and I'm like, I'll lay it out exactly. I said, sure, I believe in a higher power, but I don't believe what's being taught at the pulpits. Like, look at that girl. They made her go out in front of her church because she's pregnant, had a child out of wedlock. And then the pastor had the nerve to tell the entire congregation not to help her.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. That's Christian, right?
Listen, there's no love like Christian hate. And I will say that on a Sunday, every Sunday. It's the most segregated hour in the American society. So
I got a couple of questions for you. I know you have the answers. What does toxic positivity sound
like? You're having a conversation with your friend. You're not feeling like, for example, when we were talking earlier, I said my leg is killing me. If they could amputate it, and somebody else goes, oh, well, your other leg is fine. You have your health. You have all this. Everything else is good. You should be like, you know what, mother trucker? Do you know how much I did not sleep last night?
Exactly.
Right? And that's what toxic positive, like, it's very dismissive. It's very, it's manipulative, because if somebody's hurting and they're talking to you in confidence and they consider you a friend, they want you to hear and understand and listen to them. Right? Not go, whatever. You've had better days. Like, dude.
That's the last thing I want to hear when I'm in pain. That's the last thing I want to hear. Let me process this. Let me deal with this, and I could get on about my day.
Yeah. And 3 weeks from now, we can laugh about how much I whined when my leg hurt.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But you know what? I'm very lucky that I have friends who are very honest and will tell me with love what I need to hear. Right?
Exactly.
And you know, I'm very careful about who is in my orbit, that I don't have to worry about them being harmful, that I know what they're saying is said with love, and I know what their intent is. And
now, let me stop you there, because I want you to dig a little deep on that, about worrying about being harmful. What does that look like? And give me an example of that.
Worrying about being harmed?
Harmful,
yeah. So let's think you have a friend, you've lost, say, 60 pounds, right? That friend goes, oh, you look so much prettier now that you're skinny, right? Sounds like a compliment, but it's not.
Right.
It's like, what the heck do you think I looked like when I was fat? Like, and then you'll have other friends, like, I call them backhanded compliments, or information that's not helpful, right? Like, you break up with somebody and they're like, oh, I told you 6 months ago to dump them. Yeah, that's great. You told me 6 months ago. How about we talk about what's going on right now in my life?
That's not helping. Exactly. That's not helping. Yeah.
Right?
That's not helping at all.
And yes, you want your friends to call you on your bullshit, but at the same time, a good friend would go, yeah, I told you so. And where do we go from here? right? That wouldn't be their only conversation.
Exactly.
And too often, I think people don't understand what real friendship is, right? They don't understand the give and take of friendship, that there's compromises, that, yeah, we're not always going to agree. Like, you and I have been friends for decades, and I swear some people watch the show just to watch us argue,
Exactly.
right? Because we will call each other out. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, see you, talk to you later.
That's it.
You know,
That's it, man. And that's what true friendship is about.
Mm.
I know, when I call you, I know if I'm calling you for something, and let's just say I'm dealing with something.
Yeah.
You're gonna give me the brutal truth.
Yeah.
You won't be looking for a silver lining. Hey, this is what it is, man. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that forced happiness, that's not beneficial to neither party.
No.
So we're just walking through life pretending.
Yep.
That's
You know,
not beneficial.
there's nothing. I like happy people. I'm generally happy most of the time. Most of my friends are very happy people. But you know what? I have a lot of friends who are vets, who are going through stuff.
Right.
And if I told one of my friends, buck it up, man, you'll be all right, when they're telling me what's going on and how they're feeling, and the nightmares and the dreams and everything, and how they're on the wall and they're thinking about it. And you know
Right.
what? That's not helpful, because you got to talk them off the wall. And that doesn't mean fake positivity. That means you have to have real conversations.
Exactly. And 9 times out of 10, man, when someone calling you about a matter or situation that they're actually currently in, you should be looking for great feedback, not just look
Yeah.
on the positive side. No, I'm not looking for that. I'm calling you about my issue. I'm calling you about my situation. I'm not looking for the positive end of it. We'll talk about that once we get down the road. But
Yeah.
let me process everything I need to process within this issue. Help me figure it out.
Yeah. I don't trust people who are always blowing sunshine,
Right.
because they're not dealing with stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I get kicked out of coaching groups all the time because I call people out on their nonsense. Right. Like, come on, positive vibes only. I'm like, why are you afraid of having a deep conversation?
That's it.
What's behind that? They're like, oh, I just don't feel like it. Should be light and easy. I'm like, no, our job isn't light and easy. We're supposed to be having deep conversations with people.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
you know,
I figure when you make things light and easy, I'm helping you keep your rose-colored glasses on.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But a
Yeah.
friend will take them off and say, "Hey, look,
Yeah.
look at it. Look at it on this side of things.
Yeah.
Look at it this way." But
the most growth happens when you're uncomfortable.
That's right.
Absolutely. That's why when we're down in our deepest, that's when we rise like phoenixes.
That's what a lesson is.
Yeah.
That's what a lesson is, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what a lesson is. That's good stuff, man. Another question for you. One second. Why is positivity thinking bad for you? Why is thinking it bad for you? Why is it bad for you?
Why is only positive thinking bad for you?
Correct.
Because it puts you into a state where you're not able to look at the facts and beliefs of what's happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you think everything's positive, then there could be things happening that you need to focus on that are not positive, that need to be changed, that need to be dealt with.
Right.
But if you're ignoring them for only positive things, then those things don't get dealt with.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I wish everything could be positive all the time.
I totally get that. That's like for me. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier. She's always asking about the topics and viewing and whatnot. And we got to talking about validating feelings and stuff like that, right? And I started thinking about myself when I was talking about validating my feelings within this situation. Like, this is what it is. I don't hear nothing else about nothing until I process this stuff. Until I actually effectively process this. I don't need to hear God's gonna fix it. None of that. I don't need to hear none of that stuff. I need to process this stuff. I'm in this situation now.
Yeah.
And my feelings were validated by the things that I was doing, the video recording and all this stuff. I wasn't doing it for viewers. I was doing it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing worse than telling somebody it happens because God gave us free will. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
The colonizers' religion is really good at keeping people down. So I call it that because they talk about Jesus. They have pictures of Jesus, and he's blonde hair and blue eyed. I'm like, the Bible says he's got hair of wool and skin of brass, so he don't look like that.
Sound like a brother to me. Sound like a brother to me. But when you,
I'm a troublemaker. What can I say?
Nah, it's okay.
Nice girls never make history.
Exactly. Exactly. Say that one more time.
Nice girls don't make history
at all. At all. But that's cool, man. But a lot of people will look at this topic or channel into this this podcast later on, and they'll say, "Wow, that's kind of negative." Why so negative? What would be your answer to
that? It's not negative to have a realistic view of handling your emotions. What is negative is to think that not dealing with them will end up with a positive result.
Yeah.
Because at no time has any problem be solved by not dealing with it.
Exactly. By not dealing with it, you'll end up in a repeated cycle.
Yeah. Or you could end up worse than where you began.
That's true. Because you're not being honest with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell people, like, will it suck going through the emotion? Yes. But at the other end, when you come out of it, you'll be good to go, and you'll be thankful because then you don't have that baggage anymore. Exactly. Like, who wants to drag all that baggage around with them?
That's true.
Deal with the emotion and dump it.
Exactly. Most times people don't deal with their real emotions on situations because they get comfortable in that. That's what I mean. I find that personally. They get comfortable in that and they stay stagnant in that same spot.
Well, some people will refuse to deal with it and make it their story. And that's
what does that look like?
They will take on that personality. Like they'll become the martyr.
Oh, the war is me you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's because they refuse to deal with anything.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. I met a new person over at the gym last week. I was sitting there with my friends and whatnot and having breakfast like we normally do after the workouts. And she waited till my friends got up to use the restroom or do whatever they were doing. Oh my God, what happened to you? Oh my God. And my response to her was, hey, don't pity me.
Yeah.
I don't do that around here. Don't pity me on that at all. And nothing about me changed but the limp. But she kind of looked at me. She was kind of startled by it. But I'm like, nah, we're not doing the war is me. And don't bring that energy to this table. Yeah. We're not doing that. Not doing that at all. But a lot of people I find a lot of people, if they're actually stuck in that war is me phase, they'll just suck it up and eat it, they'll eat it up.
Yeah.
I'm not that hungry.
Yeah. You need to do it for a little bit just to allow yourself time to process it, but then you can easily step in it once you process it. Sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
stuff. Go ahead.
I would say there too often people think they're helping and they don't think about the words that they're using. Mm-hmm. And those words you may intend them to be helpful, but when it comes down to it, it's not helpful at all. And sometimes you can actually cause harm, right? Like if somebody's depressed, like, oh, you just need to get outside. No, that's not helpful. Right.
At all.
And then if somebody's really is in like in a hole, I call it in a hole, right? If you've had PTSD or you've had depression, you know what being in the hole means. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the only person who can help you is somebody who's been in that hole. That's right. True. And if you've not been in that hole, then, leave people alone and let people who have help them. Exactly. Don't try giving advice that is unhelpful because it just doesn't work. And sometimes it'll make them mad at you.
Exactly. So let's talk about the harmful side of forced happiness. Mm-hmm. What does it look like and how do we get out of that state?
We have to be more cognizant of what we're saying. So what it looks like is somebody's hurting and you go, oh, you just need to move on. You just need to get over it.
Right.
You need just to forget about what happened and start a new day. It's a new day, new page, stuff like that, right? That can be very harmful, because if somebody's in that emotion, they need to deal with that. They need to work through it and process it. To tell somebody to get over it and move on is not helpful at any juncture, right?
Exactly. And which is positive as far as working through the process. Like, let's just say a breakup, right? When we talk about breakups and whatnot, especially if it's a marriage, that's similar to, and I've always spoken on this over the years, that's similar to a death. So you have to pass through the 5 steps of grief and loss in that situation. So telling me I need to get over this woman, that's not helping me. It's not helping me at all.
No.
You know, you got to work through it, because sometimes you're going to want her back. Sometimes you're going to hate her guts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're going to love her. The next time you're not going to love her. You regret. You're doing all types of things. You go through those steps, man, and those phases, as you know, we go through them several times before we get to the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree. It's not helpful, telling folks, oh, get over it and move past it. Well, let me get through these steps first before I move past it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the problem is that some people don't, because they don't deal with their emotions, they don't like to see other people dealing with their emotions. Right? Because when you see others dealing with emotion, it primarily brings those emotions up in ourselves. Right?
Exactly.
If you see somebody sad, then that sadness, you can feel it. Especially if you have stuff that you haven't dealt with.
That's a huge trigger. That is a huge trigger for people who haven't dealt with their own things. So yeah, I get that. And actually, the conversation I had with one of my friends today, she mentioned that.
Yeah.
She mentioned exactly what you just said.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing: when you work through them, when you deal through the emotions, it's a lot easier to process them after a while.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, that person was a jerk. They, I'm angry what they said, blah 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 blah, and then you're done. Right.
Exactly. And then I found over the years and different situations that I've been in, the reward is so much sweeter if you work through the process and truly getting past a situation, whether it be a divorce, whether it be whatever it is, business relationship going wrong, work through the process. It's more rewarding once you get to the other end of it.
Yeah.
But if not, if you don't deal with those feelings, you're going to be bitter for the rest of your life.
Listen, anger, unprocessed emotion is not a way to live. Yeah. It ages you, for one. Right? And when I say ages you, I mean your cells in a biological way. Because when we're storing all that stress and all that emotion and everything, you can feel it in your body. Like if anybody's stressed, they'll tell you exactly where in their body they will feel that stress. Some people will feel in their shoulders. Some people feel in their back. I feel in my hips. We all have different points where we feel when we get stressed out, where it is. And that it binds our body up and knots us up, right? Just a tightness. And people are like, oh, well, I can just let it go and breathe it out. I'm like, you know what? You got to do more than that, because it's still there.
Exactly.
Right? There's entire books and studies and courses done on it.
Exactly. A ton of people don't realize that, man, when we talk about stress and whatnot. Like, that's why it's so good. Like, in my case, it's good to practice yoga and meditation and all that stuff, because you release that stuff. You release all that stuff. The stuff that I deal with on a regular, I don't know if how many people could deal with that. Yeah. But that's why I continuously work out, continuously meditate, continuously do yoga, because a lot of people don't realize stress truly kills. It's just not a cliche thing, man.
No.
That's what got me in this situation, stress.
It affects your heart, your blood pressure, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, absolutely.
It's like I wish everybody could be healthy and happy and life is good and nobody has to process any emotions. I wish, but I'm not stuck in some delulu utopia, right? That's not how the real world works.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. That's good stuff. But coming up with that topic, man, I knew it was going to be a real good one as far as, talking about it, because a lot of people don't talk about that. Toxic positivity. Think about that.
Oh yeah. Well, we see it in the coaching world all the time.
Exactly. We see it all the time. All the time.
That and
But
gaslighting and spiritual bypassing and all that stuff.
mhm,
You know, it's
exactly. And a lot of people actually, they'll get offended by that when we talk about the church and the toxic positivity that they spew on a daily basis. On a daily basis, right? You know, when you think about, my friend and I were having this conversation earlier today. When you think about, let's just talk about tithes and offers and stuff like that, right? But they'll do it. They'll collect for anything and everything, except for Sister Johnson, whose lights just went out in the middle of a storm. Oh, God gonna take care of that for you. God gonna get that for you. I just prayed for you. I just talked to God.
Yeah.
Hey, but what about this fund y'all picked up?
Listen, the billions of dollars that are given to churches, and the churches don't have schools, or heck, some don't even have community gardens.
Exactly.
Right? So yeah, I get into it with pastors all the time. I'm like, well, tell me what your church is doing for the community.
Exactly.
Like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you guys help the seniors with their bills? Do you got all this money coming in? I see that nice Benz you and your wife are driving.
Exactly.
Right? You're each driving a Benz. You're living. You have some of the poorest.
It's not Benzes anymore. They got Phantoms now.
Listen, man,
Phantoms and Jets.
they had to shame Joel Osteen to let people in his church.
Isn't
when they had that storm?
Yeah.
You know,
Isn't that something?
It's very sad because there's so much money that goes to churches, and there's so much good that could happen, but it's not happening.
Right.
Right. And then we have the holier than thou holy rollers. And I'm like, you know what? Some of you all aren't getting into heaven. You might think you are, but you ain't.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, because y'all are not. I have where is it? Oh my God. I have a sticker that I got for my car. And it says, guys, that's not what I said. With a picture of Jesus. Oh, I wish I don't know. I think it's underneath my laptop. Where is it? But yeah, it's, you know what? If like the wildfires, all that horrible stuff that's happening in LA, there are people online who are commenting, like, who was it? Prince Harry and his wife were out there, and they were out there for days before anybody noticed, right? But people love to hate her, and they're like, look at them, the center of attention. I'm like, you didn't.
I wonder why.
There was a report. You all know why. Plain dumb. Like, there was a reporter talking to the mayor who was right next to her, and the two of them kept doing what they were doing, didn't even look at a camera, and people like, oh, she always wants to be a center of attention. I'm like, please. The British royalty, the courtiers got upset because she was getting up at 5 o'clock to work, and they weren't used to working before noon. Like, come on.
Yeah, she's making them look lazy. That's all.
Yeah.
She's making them look lazy.
But yeah, and then they're like, oh, the stars, they have money to rebuild. I'm like, it doesn't matter how much money you have to rebuild if you've just lost your house.
That's right.
Like, they're still humans, and they've lost the memories they have in those homes with their kids and their families and stuff. And one of the Black communities, they're not going to be able to afford rebuild. They've had those houses for generations.
You know, I find when people do that and talk about tragic moments like that, even though they have a ton of money, just like you said, they're still human. But those people who spew that type of language when people are going through a tumultuous time, they have bitterness in their mouth. They have bitterness in their mouth. They're not truly happy with themselves, because if they're actually saying stuff like that to a tragic like that, come on, man.
Like, Paris Hilton was talking about her house, watching her house burn down, and the comments were just horrific. Yeah. And I'm like, that woman brought her babies home to that house.
Exactly.
Like, you mean her babies' rooms are gone, like all the memories and everything. Like, I don't care how much money you have. That kind of stuff, rich or poor, it hurts.
Folks like that, when shoes, those foreign shoes are placed on their feet, they tend to get amnesia.
Yeah.
And once those foreign shoes are placed on their feet, they tend to get amnesia. Then they go with the woe is me.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
my heart goes out to all those people affected by the wildfires, and I do hope that they get there's lots of resources on the ground moving in to help them. So I hope
absolutely.
I hope they can rebuild.
The insurance company's not going to do it for them.
Listen, the insurance and listen, people like to think that America is all this fabulous stuff. Our health insurance is fabulous. Our insurance companies, they cut those people off. They cut insurance before the fire. Like
absolutely. I got a joke here real quick. I was reading online the other day, and all the countries, and I'm more than sure you've heard this before, all the countries have this joke about America, right? It's America's the third world country with a Gucci belt.
Yeah.
They're so blind to it, man. They don't know what's going on. Thing about it. This is the problem when you don't travel outside the city limit lines, man.
Yeah.
You sit and you think, oh yeah, we're that, we're the best. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Well, that's what's happening. That's what's happening on Red Note now.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
And like people seeing traveling and what actual infrastructure looks like in a city and stuff. I'm like,
thank you.
A
dozen eggs for 69 cents.
And here's the thing. Yeah, we don't like my neighborhood. There isn't even a bus that comes near our. Like, if you want to take a bus, I think it's a mile and it's probably a mile and a half over by the mall.
Yeah.
To take a bus.
Yeah.
But it's like, and it's not. Our cities aren't walkable. Our suburbs aren't walkable. There's no sidewalks.
Nothing. Yeah.
To make sure that the people who live there have cars and that it keeps the have-nots out.
That's right. It's so funny. I'm glad you brought that up. Like Catherine, I a podcast with her twice a month from France, right? And she goes to the market every single day because it's in walking distance. So in France, they don't shop for the month. They don't grocery shop for the month. They do it by the day. They go to the market. So they're rarely storing things.
Yeah, they don't even have large fridges like refrigerators like we do.
At all. They don't have these humongous deep freezers and stuff like that because they don't store a lot of things. They don't. So, yeah.
But I had to laugh. I was listening. Well, they finally banned red dye free. But how Trump is going to make healthier school lunches. I'm like, y'all are a bunch of mother truckers, because y'all were complaining when Mrs. Obama did it, saying that she was taking away parents' right. Now it's good. I'm like, it's ridiculous.
I wonder why.
I can't imagine.
Exactly.
Can't imagine. But you know what?
And these are the type of podcasts I love, man. We get straight to the point, straight to the coaching, and boom.
Well, tomorrow we're going to watch The Fall of an Empire. So,
isn't that
you ready, man? How many? He said he's got about 100 executive orders. Be prepared. Yeah. If you're an immigrant, carry your passport with you because you're going to need your papers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And all my Canadian friends, you're included in those. You're included. You're the immigrant too. Just because you're white. Don't matter.
Don't matter at all.
Nope.
Don't matter at all.
Heck, if there's a bounty, I might call on some of you because some of you need a little bit of humbling. But it's crazy because we're about to embark on probably one of the darkest times in American history. Yeah. And people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, think about this. We have a government that wants to control what we now watch, i.e. the TikTok ban. Yeah. They listed off today the cities where they're going to start rounding up immigrants, and don't believe it's going to be just illegals, because if you're brown and have an accent, you're going to be picked up.
You're going to have a problem.
Make sure you have your papers.
We're going to have to at least for 2 years weather the storm. At least for 2 years, and then they'll go to voting for the Senate.
The midterms.
For the midterms. So you got to pack your lunch, man, at least for 2 years, because He's a lame duck president. Let's keep it a buck. He's a lame duck president. But at least 2 years.
He uses executive orders though, so he can be a lame duck when you do it that way.
That's true.
Right?
True.
So I don't think people are realizing, like, because I'm from Canada. We watch the Canadian news, and I'm like, I don't think people realize what tariffs are all about.
They don't.
And that tariffs are going to cost people money. Like, stuff is going to go up. It's not going to get cheaper. It's going to go up.
Exactly. This is what we talk about with the rose-colored glasses. Let's circle back to the topic real quick for 1 second. Toxic positivity, where you believe in everything positive that spew out these people's mouths. That's not what it is. That's not what it is.
No.
I guarantee you the average American do not know what tariffs are.
No.
I'll give you an example on tariffs, folks. I used to be a supervisor over the Kennedie company. It was a Kennedie company, supervised over multiple. It was that import and export business, right?
Right.
At multiple warehouses, and where we're taking in export. Imports coming in, exports going out, all this other stuff. But the moment those tariffs started moving with Trump, that was a problem. It was a problem. The company almost went belly up. I witnessed that firsthand.
Yep.
Firsthand. So that's not good for us as far as tax people who pay our taxes. Them taxes are gonna go up, man. You're gonna be taxed on this stuff. So if he's taxing China, if he's taxing Russia, whoever you're getting those goods from, where do you think those taxes gonna come out of?
Yeah. And
where
people, people don't realize how much gas and oil we get from Canada.
Thank you.
How much electricity Canada produces for the West Coast and the East Coast.
Exactly.
I'm like, Rob Ford's like, let's turn the power off.
Real quick, if they turn the power off, 3 million people out of lights, period. 3 million real quick.
Yeah, and lumber.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you want to build a house and you haven't started it, you're going to wait 4 years because the price of lumber just went up 25%.
Exactly, because you're getting it from your Canadian friends. And this, my friends, this is if you don't know this, you haven't passed the city limit line, man.
Yeah.
You need to look further than that city limit line. You need beyond that.
Yeah. And this whole TikTok ban's a joke, like Chinese propaganda.
Politics.
We all get our cell phone from China. We don't need it. They don't need an app.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
they already got the data, man. Then we talk about, we're protecting your rights. Nah, Meta's been taking that stuff.
Yeah, they've been selling it left, right. That's how we got our billions. Selling anything that you're doing online that's free, you're the product.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is why you get these robocalls. This is why you get these scam calls, these unwanted calls, because your data is being sold. Yeah. And guess what? It's being sold within, not out.
Yeah. And look at all the data breaches that we've had.
Exactly.
There's data. Everybody. I've had my data breached by so many different companies. I've lost track now. It's ridiculous. Exactly. But here's the thing. I was in a conversation, and this lady's like, "Oh yeah, it's really good. TikTok shut down. I keep my everything locked down." I'm like, "You're not locked down." She's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Give me 5 minutes." I said, "Here you go. Here's your mother's name. Here's when she died. Here's where she's buried. Here's where your house is. Just the town. I know the street and the address. I won't tell you because I don't want to put that information out there. I know you went to school. I know where your husband went to school. I know what day you got married. I know who did your catering." She's like, "How do you find all that out?" I'm like, "Because you're not locked down. You may you may think it is, but you've had people who like your pictures. They're not locked down. They've had people like their pictures. They're not locked down." I said, "I got your name and age. I can track you down easily if I happen to know which state you're in."
Exactly.
People have this illusion of security, right?
That's a great word.
Yeah,
that's a great word for it.
Yeah, I put myself to school ethically hacking. Listen, if people want to get into you, all these people posting their favorite stuff on Facebook, giving up their security stuff without even thinking about it.
Simple as that.
Yeah, like, what's your favorite food? Where'd you go to school? What street did you live on? What was your first pet's name? Those are all security questions.
Exactly.
And people answer them left, right, and center without even thinking about it.
Exactly. So let's gumbo talk the rest of the way. Well, we have been gumbo talking because we ran through that topic. So we got to. So hopefully you guys could understand what we're talking about. We talk about toxic positivity, understanding toxic positivity. We broke it down for you guys. Very good, I think, in my opinion. But you have to stay away from people like that, man. Who's constantly give you toxic positivity. One would have to. As far as me, I would be questioning my friend if he constantly bringing this toxic positivity to me, and he know my situation.
Yeah.
And he or she know my situation, what I'm going through, my daily situation is. I would have to question that friendship. So just because they come in with a smile, they very well could be toxic positivity, forced happiness. And one should never want forced happiness. I don't want to sit here and pretend that this arm really working now. No, I'm not going to sit here and pretend. And Dee's not going to allow me to sit here and pretend like this arm is fine now. No, it's not.
I'm like, who you kidding, man?
Exactly. Exactly, man. So you have to really dig a little deeper if you're around people who constantly push toxic positivity on you. Dig a little deeper.
Right. Now we're not saying your friends won't say buck up and you've had better days. But if that's all they do,
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
That's all they do. If every day is a great day, come on, man.
Listen.
I know a person who every day is fantastic. Every day is awesome. No, it's not. Come on.
Man.
That's not me being negative. It's just me having reality. This is reality.
Yeah.
Every day is not awesome. That's what it is, man. But looking on the bright side of things sometimes can be very harmful for a person trying to get out of a rut.
Mm-hmm.
Should I run that back and say that again for you guys? And looking on the bright side of things? Nah, that's not what it's always. You have to go through the process.
Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, no worries.
So, hey, we got a winter storm coming through here, through Louisiana. It starts Monday night, so it's gonna be tough over here for folks who's not accustomed to snow. So it's gonna be bad.
Listen, wear layers. Layers will get you through.
Absolutely.
And if you, I always tell people to have a couple of things on hand just in case. Have 2 bricks, a terracotta pot, and some tea lights. Yep. Because if the power goes out, you can still create heat.
Exactly.
Right. Hey, Slash, you're almost late to the show, man.
What up, Slash?
Nominated people, greetings, Princess Coach Dee and Mr. Epic. So it's not all good in the hood. No, it's not all good in the hood, man.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not good in the hood. Not good in the hood. Not good in the hood at all, man.
No,
that's
but you know what? Life is too short. But I've got a bunch of courses I got to get on my Shopify, boundaries and self-esteem and all kinds of good stuff. I think there's like 15 of them I'm working on, so I have to get them all loaded up so people can take a look. They will be reasonably priced so that it's not so that everybody can access them.
Exactly.
They'll be well underpriced what they should be, but it's purposely so that it's accessible to as many people as possible.
Exactly.
Because it's not about money, but helping people.
I'm glad you brought that up. Reminds me of an announcement I wanted to make for the website, the Taylor Kennedie website. I shortened the domain name because I thought it was a little too long for people to be typing it all in. Yeah, so it's taykenn.com. TAYKENN.com. As I spoke early in the front end of the podcast, we're not going to be streaming here on Facebook anymore. This is our last live stream here on Facebook and possibly the entire Meta system. So, but I used to have an app years ago when I first started the conversation 15, 20 years ago. And that app, the conversation app, I'm actually going to bring that back and you guys can catch us on the app streaming live. Actually, I got to thinking once that TikTok went down, I was like, wow, I think I should get back to my app.
Mm.
I think I should reactivate this app. And, you'll find all the stuff that'd be the same thing. You'll find all the stuff on the app and download, listen, just to be in your pockets, just like everything else. But
Yeah.
I've had that app for almost, I would say 16 years. So I'm just going to add new content to it and stuff like that. And we'll stream live from there. Because depending on someone else what if everything went blocked out?
Yeah.
Then we're a shit quick without a paddle. That's not cool.
If you don't own it, then you're out of luck.
Absolutely. So real good stuff. So good stuff, man. Real good stuff. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. I was talking to somebody the other day because they have they're a small business owner and they've been using TikTok to make their living, right? Because the amount of people they can get to view and orders from across the country versus just local has been astronomical, right?
Right.
And I told him, I said, you should always make sure that you download all your videos, but you need to put your own own what you have as well. So make sure you have your own website set up so that you can do that, not just the link in the TikTok shop.
Exactly. A lot of folks used to give me flack over that over the years, but I learned this online game years and years ago. I was like, I've always wanted to own my own things. I've never had the mindset of, saying sitting and allowing someone else to do something for me. So conversations always sat on its own platform. Always. Go back and do the research, pull up those shows. It'll pull up my website, everything. You can get all the shows, access all the shows there. But this app is going to be phenomenal because I started doing the app way before a ton of folks started doing their own apps. So the conversations have been there for a ton of years. So I'm just going to reactivate and, push it back out because that whole TikTok ban kind of got me spooked. I'm like, damn, I better go on and do this. And, since this conversation's taking off again, put everything back on the app. So I want to be depending on somebody to write an executive order to bring it back.
I think I dumped X, so I'm on Blue Sky now.
Yeah, I know you put me up on that. I got that too.
Yeah. Because I like Blue Sky. X has become like a cesspool of neo-Nazis. It's ridiculous how much hate there is on there now.
Yeah, man, it's just horrible. It's horrible. I deleted it completely.
Yeah,
it's horrible. Very horrible.
Very horrible. You know what? I love Red Note. Red Note, they make you pay a cat tax. The pictures are cute pictures of a cat or something. I think it's so wholesome. It's crazy. Met some great people. If you're gonna help kids with their homework, make sure your English is good because these kids don't want to flunk out because you're giving them bad information.
Exactly. Oh, there's a good one as well. It's called Clapper. I'm actually using that one now as well. It's called Clapper. Real good. It's called Clapper. The platform. Yeah, it's a platform.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
There's another one.
It's been about a
Spin.
year. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's another one called Spin. I haven't checked that one out. People were mentioning it the other day.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Cool. But you know what? I love TikTok. And here's the thing I love about it. You can tell a lot about a person by what their For You page looks like. Like a lot of people were outing themselves as creeps in the comments. They're like, all I ever see on TikTok is half-naked girls dancing. I'm like, I have never seen a half-naked girl dancing on TikTok.
Exactly.
I would literally have to go looking for that.
You know what's so funny? I got to say this. He's going to laugh his ass off when he hear it. But I take care of all of the stuff for Black Lightning Truck, the trucking business. And that goes for all social media stuff, everything, books, everything. So I got the login information for all this stuff, right? So I'm looking at his stuff on his feed. So I know exactly what he's looking at when I'm not, updating information. So I'm like, man, what you out there doing with bigbooty.coms and stuff like that?
Listen, people don't realize TikTok is a truth serum when it looks at your FYP.
It definitely
I
is.
told people that before. If you want to know who somebody is, look at their FYP page.
Exactly.
It'll tell you exactly who they are.
Exactly.
So,
Well,
you
that's
know
a good
what?
stuff, man. But this
It
was
is.
this was a real good one. I knew it was going to be a good one. Very informative information, man. Very informative. I love doing podcasts like this where we feeding people and giving them information that maybe they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? That's just like the podcast I did on Thursday with the nutrition coach, Coach Catherine Gettu over in France. We actually resumed that one as well. We talked about breast cancer and the importance of breast cancer, and it was a good one. So go to Apple or Spotify or anywhere, Tail Kennedy TV, and catch that podcast. She has some very informative information on nutrition and breast cancer and cancer altogether. So it was a real good podcast. Real good podcast. She did a blog on it. She wrote an article, I'm sorry, on that on foodandheal.com. Food, the letter N, heal.com. Very informative information, man. Good stuff.
I'm a firm believer that the creamy crack is why Black women get such aggressive breast cancer.
Now you know you can't drop a bomb like that, not explain.
Listen, man, breast cancer. When we get breast cancer, it is fast. But here's the thing: people forget the stuff that we put on our bodies gets absorbed into our bodies.
We talked
all
about
all those chemicals and relaxers.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And people like, Dee, you've never had a relaxer. Yeah. And they're like, well, I've had a relaxer once. It was the worst thing.
Exactly.
Right? It destroyed my hair for one. I don't know why everybody thinks they're good. Yeah, but it ruins your scalp. And I'm just thinking all the stuff that affects our bodies, like all those chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy when you think of it. But you know what? It's unfortunately American society doesn't like the way our hair grows out of our scalp. So it is what it is. I get it. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll be coming up next week with another informative show here. Shann will be back. Urs will be back. But we had to get this one out of the way. So I thought it was very important when Coach Dee and I were talking. It was very, very thought-provoking topic, man.
Oh yeah. You'll see it online. The so-called enlightened people will be like positive vibes only. Like, yeah. Give me whatever you're smoking so I can see what's not going on in the world.
Exactly. So there is a harmful side of forced happiness. You know what I'm saying? It really is a harmful side to it. And hopefully you guys, go back and take a listen to this podcast. Very informative information so you guys could actually understand what that is. So we're not being judged. We're not judging. We're not sitting on a high panel of judges or anything like that. But there is such a thing called toxic positivity. Well, Slash has something to say. One sec.
Urs and Shannon Bright not in DC, huh? I don't think so.
No. They're taking a break tonight. Taking a
day off. Yeah. But tomorrow we got the big inauguration. They're supposed to be signing a whole bunch of executive orders. Let's see what happens.
Black everything. All black everything for me. I'm blacking out tomorrow. So all black everything. I have no interest in that.
Carry your papers, people. Carry your papers. There's no reason you can't leave without them because it's not that's talking from one immigrant to another. Make sure you got your papers on you because they did deport citizens last time, so no doubt people will get caught up this time.
They're definitely gonna do that. And let's not get it misconstrued, folks, then we'll get out of here. He's not gonna be following no mandate. Let's keep it a buck.
No.
It's definitely not gonna be a mandate like that. They keep on saying, he's at it. The people have spoken. It's a mandate. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We'll see. Like I said, man, 2 years is gonna be real until we could actually get that Congress and Senate together. So, hey, man, it is what it is. Any closing remarks, Coach Dee?
No, I just my hearts go out to all those people affected by the wildflowers out west. I hope all you down the south are prepared for the winter because it's going to get cold, very cold. Polar, it's supposed to be -5 here tomorrow or something like that in Maryland. We got some snow already, so it's gonna be a cold week. So make sure you bundle up. If you know people who are homeless, help them get to some warming stations. You know what I mean? Exactly. Take care of the people out there who don't have anything to stay warm in because we're going to lose some of them.
Exactly. And as always, you guys can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Taylor Kennedy TV, YouTube, all that good stuff. Seen and heard across 175 different countries or regions. So good stuff. We truly appreciate that support. You guys, until next week, you guys be epic.
Bye.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.